Hello everyone and welcome back to the another episode of the Innovation Tech Community and this is another episode in the Global AI Summer Bootcamp. So along with me, Arpita Das and Rohit Yadav, both are the AI MVPs. So hi guys and how are you?
We're great. How are you?
I'm
Hello,
doing
hello.
good. Yeah. So today I'm very much excited about your session about the deep dive into the Azure AI services. So we have lots of services in the Azure. So I'm also excited about which services that you are able to do the hands-on and doing the demos on this today's session. So uh, I would like to share your screen and probably the stage is yours and you would like to explain whatever it be. So I'm at the back end and I would like to get some proper questions to you and then you can get clarified it.
Okay,
Yes. Perfect.
sounds good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we'll start. Hi everyone. Thanks for joining this session. And like the topic, it's a dive into Microsoft Azure AI services. So majorly, we'll be covering three topics which are pretty much trending in the audience right now. Let's go to the next slide.
Yeah.
Just a short intro about us. I'm Arpita. I'm a software engineer. Currently, I'm working in Bangalore, and I am the Azure Cognitive Search MVP. And before this, I was also a Microsoft intern, a Windows Insider MVP. So I understand Rohit and my achievements look kind of same. We know that. And
Mm.
I also graduated from the Gold MLSA program last year. Over to you, Rohit.
Yeah. So I think most of the things are similar, besides the fact that I am a freelance consultant and I cover cloud and AI based scenarios. I work with multiple companies and clients. And besides that, all of the things remain same. I am a Microsoft MVP as well, but my focus area is in Azure OpenAI service. And besides that, I am based out of Delhi and my past achievements are mostly similar. So I have also been a Windows Insider MVP. I have been a Microsoft intern, and I also graduated from the MLSA program as a Gold MLSA. So that's it for now. And yeah, so I think we can move on with the main content here. So without wasting any further time, let's go ahead with our talk for today. So we will be covering various open AI services under the Azure banner. So I think a lot of talks today have been going on besides AI on the topic of AI. So we will very briefly cover up what is Azure so that all of us here have context about it. So Azure is a banner of cloud services coupled under the branding of Azure, and it's owned by Microsoft. So this Azure is Microsoft's service, which allows us to um, create different resources and access them over the internet. So just like any other cloud provider, and by volume Azure is currently the second largest provider, and they have a lot of services. They have all of services that you can assume think of, and all of them are covered. They are categorized into different categories. Like we have different IaaS services, we have different PaaS services, we have different SaaS services, and very in the very recent trend, we also have LLMs as a service. So we have different LLMs available on Azure. We have different AI services available on Azure. So that's a very short gist of Azure, and basically you can use any cloud service from Azure without any hesitation, and all running up in merely seconds. So it's a very fast and efficient service. So you should definitely check it out if you haven't yet. And now we move on to Azure AI. So Azure AI is another subset under Azure services, which covers specifically the AI scenarios. So it helps individuals and organizations to create and iterate very rapidly, and you can create intelligent and market ready apps in a few clicks and within a few seconds, minutes, or hours, depending upon your use case. But you can create and deploy and provision services here in a very efficient manner. You can uh, deploy any kind of AI service. Azure has a lot of services available that cover different edge scenarios. So it covers all use cases, whether you are a seasoned professional, let's say you are a machine learning engineer. So you have a service available for you. if you are a developer and you want to jump into this whole AI era very quickly, we have ready to use LLMs that you can just get up and start using instantly within a click. So, and in between we have a lot of use cases, and accordingly there are a lot of services that you can use. So we have a lot of services under Azure AI, and you can use them as per your preference. So we have a lot of services to cover, but we will go to them very soon in the coming slides. So right now, our three services that we will be speaking about today will be Custom Vision, OpenAI Service, and Azure Cognitive Search. So custom vision service is a service. We will again have a look at it in the subsequent slides, but it basically allows you to, it's a service that is targeted at developers who do not have an understanding of artificial intelligence or machine learning, but who quickly want to get into AI. So you can build classification models where you can identify different images, and all of it happens right on your web browser. You do not need to install anything. You can build a model running instantly in like a couple of minutes, and you can consume it directly inside your apps. So this is just about custom vision service. When we come to OpenAI service, so Azure OpenAI service is another service that has been provisioned under Azure. So under Azure OpenAI service, you can provision any of the OpenAI models that are available. So all of here must be familiar with OpenAI, like it's the hottest buzzword that you can think of right now. So you have different GPT models that are available over here. So if you want to use GPT 3.5, if you want to use GPT-4, GPT-4 Turbo, or GPT-4 with Vision model, you can use any of those models. You can use the whisper models that are used for TTS scenarios. Besides that, you can use their embeddings models. So all of the models that OpenAI builds, all of them are available on the Azure OpenAI service, and this service is a uh, result of the collaboration that Microsoft has with OpenAI. So both of them are very close partners. You may have seen it already. So uh, one result of that collaboration is the Azure OpenAI service. And what is the benefit of Azure OpenAI service? One might ask. So you get access to enterprise grade security here and various enterprise level to controls, so that you can be very much sure that your data is only reserved for you. It's not going anywhere outside of your own territory. So that's a bit about Azure OpenAI service. And lastly, talking about Azure Cognitive Search. So for the developers here who are already practicing this whole scenario, you might have come across cases where you might need to use RAG, where you need to augment your chatbot with your own personalized data. So that is where Azure Cognitive Search comes in, and it's a whole vector database service where you can create vector indexes, and you can supply them to different chatbots, including OpenAI chatbots. So that's just about the Azure Cognitive Service here, Cognitive Search Service, sorry. And it has been rebranded to Azure AI Search right now. So we have a lot to cover in subsequent slides. So that's a short just for now, and I'll hand it over to Arpita now.
Okay. So, custom vision. Now, the first question that arises is what is custom vision? So, okay. Custom vision, it's actually a subcategory of Azure Cognitive Service, and the main purpose is you can build and deploy your own image classification and object detection models. Isn't that good? Like instead of sitting down to code the whole path, we will come across a very easy process on how you can do it. So what is image classification or how does it work? So image classification models, what they do is they apply labels to images, and while object detection models return the bounding box coordinates. So let me put it like this. So IPL is going on. Everyone is watching IPL. I'm hoping everyone is. Let's say you wanna see who is the captain for Mumbai Indians. Controversial topic there. But okay, so once you go and you search for the image classification there, it should pop out Hardik Pandya for you. Similarly, when you're dealing with huge data sets and you need to classify the images, it's better if you use custom vision as an added resource. But now, how does it work and like how will we even get started? So let me share my screen for that. Okay, please let me know if my screen is visible. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is visible.
It's visible. Great. So this is the Microsoft Azure portal, and we've okay. Rohit, I think you need to mute one of the screens.
I think Pratap needs to mute himself. One second.
Yes,
Oh,
sorry. 1 second.
no worries. Okay. So this is the Azure portal, and I believe by now in most of the sessions you would have seen this familiar homepage. But what it does is it also provides a lot of resources. So it's not just pretty objects everywhere. So let's say we go to create as resource. And now since we are working on custom vision, I'll just type it out here, custom vision. So in the marketplace section, oh my god, what did you do? Okay. In the marketplace section, you can see like familiar terms, just how Google search works. See, there's vision, so they popped it out. But we are going to work on custom vision. So we're going to click on this. And then what we can do is we can create a model that suits the like our requirements. Now, before we start that, something we need to understand is every machine learning project, it will always start with a question. So, what is the question in custom vision's case? Can we identify a particular category from an image and can we help document that based on other images? What does that mean? Let's say you have two IPL teams, Mumbai Indians and CSK. Let's say I just pick out Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Now, can this model tell us, like, this is Mahendra Singh Dhoni and this is from Chennai Super Kings? That is how we see if the model is efficient or not. Okay. So, I will start. I'll tell you how to build a custom vision resource here. I have already built mine, so I'll be using that for the project. First, you go and create. Just a simple process, right? We create thing. Now, okay. Now we want prediction and training both because let's have a better model, right? Why not? So you'll have to select a subscription. For me, I have one. You can you can choose the one that suits you. Then comes resource groups. You can create a new resource group. I also created one. Then region. There are a lot of regions available. So that is a good thing about Azure. It's serviceable in a lot of locations. So you can go with Central India or you can go with USA's if you like. Then you need to give it a name, a pricing tier. So here's a good thing. There's a free tier also. You can go with that. And once all of that is done, you can click on review plus create. Now, since it would take a few minutes, I'm not doing that. Once it gets created and deployed, this is how it should look. So I created it earlier today around 2 p.m. actually. So here you can see the deployment details, right? We have a training resource, we have a prediction resource. Now, the resource creation is done, but what happens next? Also, I'll just show what else is visible here if someone wants to see. Yeah, that's all. Now, what happens next is we go to this customvision.ai. Let me take you here. Yeah, customvision.ai. So this is a really nice service again from Microsoft, and I'll show you why it's nice. So here you will okay, you can now build and train your model using the web portal, or like you have the custom vision SDKs also and your preferred programming language. But that is the orthodox way to do. So we'll go with the web portal. Now, what do we do is firstly you'll sign in like all of the things. Then you can create a new project. Here what you're supposed to do is you can add whatever name you want, and then this resource, the resource you created, this resource group, it gets added here with the tire and all. You just have to select it. And then since we are going with classification, okay, now comes the question, what is classification? So for that we will actually return to the ppts. Where is it? Okay. Now for that we will return to this part. um, and I believe this is Rohit's favorite part, so he would like to cover it more than me.
Sure, sure. So, under so basically these are machine learning algorithms. We all know about it, and there are different algorithms So we use it as per our requirement and need. I also saw there was just one question, so we will take it very soon and very shortly. So for now, we will come back to our content for now. So under classification, we basically categorize our data into different categories, and accordingly we sort them into different categories. So which is what classification covers, and classification is our topic of discussion today with custom vision as well. But besides this, there are different other algorithms that you might have heard of. So just like classification, we have regression, which basically predicts values in a linear fashion on current trends. You can get values for future trends. Besides that, you can get anomaly detection, which detects basically if a value is going out of a predefined range that we have defined before. We can also get access to algorithms such as reinforcement learning. I think you might have heard of the AlphaGo game that was built before and a model that was trained on it. Besides this, we have different algorithms that do data structuring. So we have clustering over there, we have different recommendation systems over there. If, basically we are using it every day the moment we are using any social media app, because we have a huge recommendation algorithm that is obviously tailored to our taste. So that's taste of different algorithms, but for this service we are going to go with classification service.
Right.
So next
So
slide.
now, yeah.
Yeah.
So now, like we said, it's all enabled by machine learning. And okay, so this is again Rohit's favorite slide, so he'll cover it.
Yeah, so I think all of us know about this here. So again, all of these fields are very much interrelated to each other. So we have artificial intelligence as the superset here, and a subset of it is inside machine learning, which is another. So we have another subset here, neural networks, and inside it we have again one more level of subset, which is called as deep learning. So we have different techniques which are basically subset of each other, and obviously to achieve all of this we need statistics alongside all of this. So that's not a difference, but this is like a architectural scenario that we must remember before we step into this whole field. So next slide. So
Okay,
yes, again our topic of discussion today with the services is classification.
right,
And moving to next slide, and I'll hand it over to Arpita now.
right. So we told you about the portal and we told you about the basic process. Now, how does it works on customvision.ai? Firstly, I'll explain it to you, then I'll demo it to you. What you'll do is you'll upload the image and add some label to it. Then you will train the model there. It's very clickable. You don't have to write any code for that. And after that, you can evaluate your results. Now let's get some clarity on it by creating a custom vision model. Right. So this is a model I've already created, or you can follow this process to create your own. Now what I've done is I've added a few images of some animals. So the data set is not very big here because I wanted a quick demo. But in case your data set is huge, like it goes around 3,000, 4,000 images, you can very well do that. So what happens is once you've added those images, there's a tag to it. So you all would have used Amazon cart, right? So let's say we select one tag here. So since I selected dog, only the dogs have showed up on my screen. Now let's say I also add the elephants to it. So now we have dogs and elephants. So similar to how a normal Amazon cart would work for you, the categories you select, you'll see the products, or in our case, the images for those. Now since this is already trained, I'll go for a quick training. So you have two training types, quick and advanced. So quick is feasible for us since we're short on time. Advanced is also a paid one, but it's a more rigorous training. So it's recommended if you're using it for your own projects. So I'll just go with quick training here. Not okay. Since I trained it a while back and nothing has changed. So after training, what we got here was that our precision, recall, and AP all three went up to 100%. Now, what does this information even mean? Like all you can see here, like okay, zebra is 100%. There were 7 images, and similarly. So, but what does this mean? So the precision here, this is supposed to indicate the percentage of the class predictions that were correct. The recall, it means the percentage of class predictions that were correctly identified, And AP is also known as average precision, which means the model performance. So it's calculated by computing the precision and recall at different thresholds. So we have gone to a 95% threshold level here, and this is the result we have got. But now, how do we test the model if it's working or not? So what I can do is I'll just go to quick test and I'll browse my local files here. So okay, we have animals. Let's say I add a picture of a happy dog. Let's say I've added this picture, and now you can see here that the results have popped up. So it says that 99.9% sure that it's a dog. Do you think it's a dog? Because our model thinks it's a dog. And after that, once you close it, if you go to predictions, you can see the images that were tested. That's how easy it is when you're using a custom vision model instead of coding those hundreds of lines. Now, there's one more thing which I would actually like to cover here. So, there are questions like why isn't it 100% and all? No model is 100%. Okay. So, the probability is actually an indication of how correctly the model thinks it's tagging the images. So, you actually need to meet three criteria which are written here only. So your model should know the image it needs to match, and since all models make mistakes, normally 80% above score is accepted. But in today's day we can get 90% score, or like in our model we had a 95% score. So it's not that hard. And the only way to train your model, like it's a tip, is that you should increase the number and diversity of images you use to train it. So how do you increase the diversity? You add different angles, settings, lightings. Like in my model, I'll show you. Let's go to training images. So we have a lot of images, and here's the image set for wolves. There's a side angle, there's a dark angle, there's a simple one which looks like a husky to be frank. But that is how you'll achieve a better model. Now, going ahead, we have done the demo. Okay, now it's over to Rohit. Rohit, do you want to present your screen?
No, I'm fine with this way as well.
Yes. Great.
Um, okay. So we have covered one service here, and you might have seen that this service was probably the easiest to begin with, because
Right.
you do not need any kind of programming language here, you can say, or any knowledge. Like a theoretical knowledge is always needed, but besides that, you do not need to work with anything else. It's simple. It's a simple web interface where you simply upload your images, label them, and just go ahead with the stuff. Right? So, but now we will be going into another type of service. So this service is Azure OpenAI service and Azure Cognitive Search. This has been renamed to Azure AI Search now. But basically, in essence, both of these services are related to the generative AI era that we are in today. So we will quickly go ahead with the slides, and then I'll give you a demo around both of these services. So next slide.
Yes.
So yes, coming to Azure AI. So Azure AI now is not just one service; it's a collection of a lot of services. So we have services here that are ready to build. If you do not want to use these pre-built services, you can build your own services. So we have a rich, diverse portfolio of services over here. So you can use basically the services that are ready to use are classified under cognitive services. So you have document intelligence here. You can work with documents here. That's a huge pain point in enterprises where you work with manual documents. So you can automate these documents, they're scanning and working with them. You can use cognitive search, which is again used for RAG purposes. You can use bot services, so you can build your own bots. You can use video indexer. So again, this is a very good service that basically works with the videos that you give it access to, and it works on them and generates rich summaries, rich chapters similar to what you might have seen in YouTube videos. Metrics Advisor, it's again used for advisory purposes. We have Immersive Reader. This is a really great service, and students love this service. If you might have used it in multiple surfaces like Office or maybe Edge. So It provides you with a rich, immersive experience for reading purposes. You have different vision services, out of which one service we talked about today, which was custom vision. We have speech related services, we have language related services, decision services, and lastly, we have the Azure OpenAI service. Now, if you want to use these pre-built services, it's up to you. But if you want to build your own, let's say you want to build your own infrastructure, no worries. We have a complete end-to-end Azure machine learning platform over here, so you can use that. And if you do not want to use that as well, no worries. We have infrastructure related services as well, so you can get access to virtual machines or containers here that provide you access to GPU as well, so you can use it to simply train your models on your own and deploy as you need. So we have a rich portfolio of services here. Over to next slide.
Yes.
Yes, so now we are here on Azure OpenAI service. So again, you have used ChatGPT, right? So you know the use cases already that you use ChatGPT for. So we use it to generate content, we use it for summarization purposes, we use it for code generation. That's a huge scenario. And besides that, semantic search, where the chatbot answers queries upon your own data. So that some of the services that are covered by all of the use cases probably that you can imagine ChatGPT to do for you. All of these services can be done by Azure OpenAI service here. And again, why Azure OpenAI service? Like you can use simply OpenAI as APIs as well. Now there are multiple advantages that you get with Azure OpenAI service. So all of it is enclosed under inside your Azure subscription. So you do not need to sign up for another subscription. And obviously there comes a lot of management hassles, especially when you talk about enterprise scenario or inside a company. So all of it is managed right under one subscription. You get very strict RBAC controls, role based access controls. So you can restrict who can get access to your data, and the data here is never disclosed out of your own environment, company environment. So all of it is secured right inside your tenant. No data goes out to any other party, or even for model training purposes or any other uh, use case that you might imagine. So next slide. So yes, again, we have a range of models available here. GPT-3 is available, but I think the most commonly used model over here would be GPT 3.5. Besides that, you have access to GPT-4 models, GPT-4 Turbo. You have access to Codex model. Now, this Codex model is specially fine-tuned upon coding scenarios. So, if you have used GitHub Copilot, that's the model that's used inside of GitHub Copilot, which is the Codex model. Now, DALI model is used to generate images. ChatGPT again allows you to have a one-to-one chat with your data. It's a simple chatbot service. Besides, if you compare it to GPT service, GPT basically allows you to use the model for any scenario that you might imagine. And GPT-4 is again in preview. Some models are available for production uses, and some models are available as a preview one. So again, the benefits here that I talked about, it's deployed within your Azure subscription, it's secured and accessible only by us. There are large models that you can use for your own scenarios. These are custom models that you can fine tune with your own data and still keep it inside your hyperparameters, inside your organization boundary. Again, a huge differentiator over here is responsible AI services. So Microsoft has a huge investment in responsible AI services. That's probably the biggest differentiating factor here. So we have responsible AI checks that can detect different scenarios, like it can detect malicious prompt that your users might insert. So and it keeps a check on our chatbots basically on total services, so that the service works as intended and there is no malicious use. Like it's not used to generate content for malicious purposes or maybe for any other purposes that you might imagine. And again, we have enterprise grade security and role based access control, which is a huge plus point. So, next slide. Yes, and now this is cognitive search that will be covered by Arpita.
Okay. So, cognitive search, okay. All those terms, LLMs, retrieval augmented generation, images, audio, video, what are all these? So, your retrieval augmented generation, it's a technique for enhancing the accuracy and reliability of your generative AI models, your LLM models. And how it does is it uses the facts fetched from external sources. But how does that work? So one term a lot of you would have come across regularly is vector search. So vector search, it's a method of information retrieval where documents and queries are represented as vectors instead of plain text. But that is fine, but how will it even help? So how it helps is when any searchable content is represented as vector, a query can find close matches in similar context also. So the embedding model used for vector generation, it knows which words could be similar concepts, and thus it places the resulting vectors together. Let's take a normal weather example. Let's say cloud and fog are most likely to show up in a query about mist because they're similar. Okay, so that was something on the very high level. And how does this project or how does this service help us? So like Rohit mentioned, we can use OpenAI embeddings and we can like revolutionize our own models. We can add things that we like, and then we can scale it with partitioning or replicating across multiple domains or multiple resource areas. And we can then further build generative AI apps also. And since everything is a part of Azure, everything can be integrated to Azure, handled, deployed by Azure, and all you have to do is focus on the LLMs. Over to you, Rohit. There's a very nice demo coming up.
Yes. I
Yes,
think
I'll just
before
stop.
we move ahead, we will take some questions that have come up over here.
Oh, okay.
So I think we can take these questions right now, and post that we will go on with the questions directly. So, okay, I'll hand this question over to Arpita. So, what are the core benefits of using Azure AI services compared to building custom AI solutions from scratch? So, you want to take that up, Arpita?
Yeah, I can take that up. So, core benefits of Azure Custom Vision. Okay. So, the best part that I like is you can customize your model. So, you can train custom image classification, object detection, like tailored to your specific use case and data set. So it will enable you to accurately identify and classify objects. Secondly, it's very easy to use. Like I showed you in the demo, it barely took me 15 minutes. If you were to use a very orthodox method, you're going to invest a lot of time in that. And I think it's very beneficial if we save time on things like these and use it to build better business logic. So the platform, it's very user friendly. All you have to do is upload your images, label data, train the models, and then you deploy that into production environment. And again, one more benefit which usually comes with clouds, it's scalable. So since it's built on a scalable cloud infrastructure, you can like it can accommodate growing data sets and user demands. And furthermore, it's also using AI powered applications for that. And then it's integrated with Azure service. So let's say you tomorrow you want to add some cognitive search to it or some IoT device to it. It would be very easier for you to leverage the whole wide range. So that integration will not come from the orthodox methods. That's all.
True. And again, we have a huge benefit here, added advantage that comes with using Azure, any Azure AI services. So we have a rich portfolio of services that we recently discussed about, and there is a service that tailors the need of anyone over here. So let's say if you are a beginner, you can get started with services like Custom Vision, where you can simply go up and take up your own model without. I think we are on the wrong slide here.
Okay, so
Um, yeah. So if you are in a beginner, you have a service for that. If you are an expert, let's say you are a machine learning engineer, you can use services like ML Studio to build your own models. So that's the advantage that you have. We will go to the next question, which is what are cognitive services in Azure and how do they fit in broader AI services landscape? Okay, so cognitive services, again, these are a family of pre-built models that these models are developed by Microsoft, and they target different use cases. So I'll quickly, if you can go back to one or two slides back, Arpita. Yes. So if you can see over here, these are different services that different target different scenarios. So let's say if you want to work with vision, you can use any service that is available under vision's category of services. If you want to use speech, you can use any similar service. So all of these services are very use. Um, these services are tailored to a particular scenario, and you can use them very easily. These are pre-built models and you just need to import them. You can use it as in the form of an API inside your application, so it's very easy to get started with these services. So this is a gist about cognitive services and how they fit into the broader AI services. Again, these are pre-built models, so you can use them very instantly instead of using building your own models, getting your own data. That is a very tedious process. So besides of using that, you can simply get started with the cognitive AI services, and you can use any model that you want based on your use cases. So we have two more questions, but before that, we will give you a gist of our demo very quickly, and then we can come on to our questions. So I'll share
So,
my screen.
yeah, I'll stop presenting mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me share my screen. Yeah. So I have shared my screen just now.
It's not visible yet.
Um, I think Pratap, can you enable that inside the show? I think it has to be added under the show. Yeah, if you can spotlight the screen here. I shared my screen, but it's not coming.
Yeah, give me some, say. Give me some.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, awesome, awesome. So we will very quickly go ahead with our demo, and you might have seen Azure portal already. So this is a quick look of how the Azure portal looks like. This is a dashboard that lists your resources. It gives you access to tutorials, and you can pin your own widgets over here for different services. This is a completely customizable UI. Now, for our demo, under both the services, Azure OpenAI Service and Cognitive Search, uh, we deployed a demo beforehand, both Arpita and me here. So these are a set of different services that you can see over here. So the first one is an app service. So basically, we built a website that is connected to a backend, and where our OpenAI service is being utilized and our cognitive search service is also being utilized. So we built a web app for that. So you can see an app service entry for that. We have application insights that's basically used for insights purposes. Document intelligence. So again, this is one of the service that we talked before in cognitive service, and this service basically reads our documents and makes it passes it in the form of vectors. Next up is our OpenAI instance that you can see over here. This is a shared dashboard, but no needs. This is a shared dashboard between both of us, so no need for this to be discussed. Next up, this is our search services, cognitive AI search. So this is the main service. Again, the flagship service that we discussed about today. Besides this, there are different other services like storage account to store our data. Next up, we go to our search service. So I'll cover the AI search service over here. So whenever you work with any indexing service, so this is again a vector indexing service. So all of the data that we have given to the document before, to the service before, it has an index. So I'll quickly show you the index that has been built over here. And so the service has built an index. Now again, for time purposes, I'll not go inside this index, but this is an index that has been built over here. It's of the size 16.53 MB, and we have a vector index. So the vector has a speed of 3.72 MB over here. And we have total 628 documents that were given to this service. for converting them into a vector. Now, the index that has been built here, it's vectorized and it has been given to our OpenAI chatbot. So next up, I will go to the Azure OpenAI service. So this is what the Azure OpenAI service interface looks like. So this is a normal chatbot here that we can use for testing purposes. So you can see over here, I can simply type any query here, like just for testing purposes. I'll just send a hi, and let's see what it responds to. Again, yeah, as expected. So this is a complete end-to-end testing scenario. You can use different models here. You can fine tune different settings. You can add prompts. You can add your own data. So this is the area where AI search steps in, where we need to add our own data. So this is the service. We have different services here like completions, playground, assistance. So assistance is a huge focus coming forward, which basically targets different scenarios like agents. So you might have seen agents coming up in news recently, like there was an agent named as Devin that gained traction very recently. So all of it is enabled by this assistance feature. Next up, so this is our actual demo that we built. So this is a simple chat app. You can see it's deployed on our Azure web app. It carries the domain name as azurewebsites.net. So this is our own demo, and you can use it for different purposes. It's a simple chatbot. It's built upon GPT 3.5. But for today, since we have fine tuned it with our own data, we have used RAG over here. We have used RAG. So we have three different mod prompts, you can say, that are available here. So think of it as an enterprise bot that you answers to all of your query. Like organizations can build simple chatbots that helps their employees to get information about anything that they want. Let's say this is a simple chatbot that answers queries of an employee. So we have different prompts available here, like uh, about performance reviews, what happens in a performance review. If you are a product manager, what will be your roles and responsibilities. And a very common scenario that comes over here is the compensation that is given to the employees. So over here, insurance is one of the benefits that is offered. So let's say I want to ask about what is what comes under my insurance benefits. So as you can see over here, the answer is generated, and it is working on my own data that I have given to it. It's not taking any data from the internet. You can also see this service generates citations, so you can go ahead and see your own data. So this generated this answer based on my own data. So I supplied a document named as benefit options. So the answer was generated on behalf of this. If I clear chat and let's try another prompt. So I'll go for a performance review here. So again, it will search on my internal company data, and accordingly it generated an answer. So you can see how easy it is to get started with these services. All of it happens right inside of Azure, inside Azure portal. I did not need to work on even VS Code if you want. There are simple ready to use service. These are simple ready to use services that you can just work on them right inside your browser. So as you saw over here, like Azure OpenAI service, you can work on it right inside here. You can fine tune it with your own data. You can use AI search service over here. So this is a huge plus point that you get with Azure AI services here. So that was a very short just this was a very short brief that we demo that we had to show you the power of Azure OpenAI service and how it works very well in a personalized scenario when you combine it with your own data. So that's where Azure AI search service comes in. So this was our short demo that we had for today, and with that, I think I'll come back to my slides. Yeah, so I think we have taken up all of these slides. So with that, we come to an end of our session, but we have some questions remaining over here. So okay, I will pass on one question to Arpita over here, and then
Yeah,
I'll take one.
I'll actually take the second one on Azure Cognitive Services.
Yeah. So, which one? What are Azure Cognitive Services, right?
No, this one. How can Azure Cognitive Service for Language be used for tasks beyond sentiment analysis?
Awesome,
It's a good
awesome.
question.
So, if you want, you can take this question right now, and then I'll answer the last question.
Sure. So it's not just sentiment analysis. You can also use Azure Cognitive Services for Language for things like NLP. What is NLP? NLP is natural language processing. It gives computers the ability to like interpret, manipulate, and well comprehend human language also. But other than that, there are a lot of tasks that can be done. It's going to get a bit technical now. So there is this something called NER. So it's named entity recognition. So you can use the text analytics service and you can call the entities endpoint of the service. So they will provide you the text you want to analyze. And in return, the service will give you recognized entities with their types. Let's say person, location, types like those. Other type, like other way you can use it is key phrase extraction. So similar to the previous one, you can invoke the key phrases endpoint with your text data, and you will receive a list of key phrases extracted from the text. These two are kind of related. Then there is language detection. Well, so you can call the languages endpoint to determine which language had a more confidence score. So let's say we play two audios in French and Hindi, and I ask them which is French. So you can use it for language detection also. There's text translation, very commonly used service nowadays. So you will just send a simple translation request to the service specifying the source and target language along with the text to translate, and you will immediately get the translated text along with the analytics of it also. Okay. And additionally, what you can also do here is you can train a custom text classification model. So, like you can use your Azure ML Studio cognitive services, and you can deploy a trained model in REST API with the REST API endpoint. And then you can send text data to this API endpoint for classification, and it will in turn give you predicted categories, labels. Plus one more use which is kind of coming up now. Have you heard of Lewis language understanding? So you can create a Lewis application in your Azure portal. So what you can do is you can define the entities, the intents in your application to represent the language model. You can train and publish that model, and you can then integrate it with your chatbots or other stuff also. One more place where it's being recognized nowadays is conversational AI. So you can combine all these services. Oh, Pratap, you're still on that question, but okay. We can combine your Azure services with your Lewis, and then you can add other things like this bot service, there's speech service, and you can design a whole conversational flow using these as bot framework SDKs, and then you can deploy your own conversational agent. Thank you.
Yeah. So, I think I hope this answer was sufficient for your question. So, Arpita showed you a lot of use cases that you can take up with cognitive services for language. So, it can go beyond sentiment analysis to a lot of use case scenarios. It's like these services are simply upon us to use. Like, let
Right.
our imagination run wild. It's that scenario. So, like, whatever purpose you need to use it for, it's there for you.
Right. And just
um
adding one more thing to it, I do understand we all make sentiment analysis in our final year project, but that's not the only use.
yeah. Yeah, so with that, we will go on to the last question that we have for today, which is explain the concept of resource management in Azure Air Services. So, yes, so I gave you a rich demo of that. I'll go back to my Azure portal. So, Azure Air services are basically provisioned as resources inside Azure that you can see inside Azure portal. And these services are managed just like any other resources that you can think of. So if let's say you can see over here, my Azure OpenAI instance is again provisioned here as a resource. Similarly, for the search service, you can again see it being provisioned as a resource over here. Same thing applies for my cognitive service instance, which was document intelligence. All of it is enclosed inside of a resource group, which in this case is RG Chat app. So you have the same controls for Azure Air Services. If you are done using it, you can simply delete this resource group and get rid of all of these services, and that's how you manage the resources. There are same controls that apply to other services, that are inside of Azure. So you can use it as all of them are deployed as a service. You can give access to other people using RBAC. You can take away access from them. You can delete these services. You can provision new resources. It's all up to you. And short answer being, it's the management of these Azure AI resources are very similar to other resources that you do. All of it can be done manually inside Azure portal. You can further automate it using different tools that Microsoft gives you access to. So that was the answer for this question. And I don't see any questions for now. So I think we are good to go and we can wind up with our session over here. So that was all about today. And we really hope you had a good time understanding all of these services. And yeah, any closing words, Arpita?
Yeah, we really
Yeah,
hope
yeah.
you learned about custom vision and cognitive search and would use it in your projects or, I don't know, company further.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Kavita. So actually, I love the session because I'm also the same category. I'm also AMP regarding this open AI and machine learning. So I love that concept. I know that whatever the evaluation. So yeah, it was really good and outstanding responses from the question Q&A session and everything. So and one more thing is that so the way you are explaining the Q&A, it was very fantastic. So I love that part. So it was fantastic. Thank you so much. So I would like to express my sincere gratitude to you to valuable research from the Azure OpenAI and Azure AI services. So I would like to connect with you in the future for the more events to the community and as well as the I thought Arpita told me that you are in the Bangalore only. So probably so we are conducting some events of the next month and upcoming months. Every month we are conducting. So probably you are also one of the speaker for this event. Okay. Yeah. So I was an outside, so I was so sorry for
Collaborative.
the inconvenience. So I'm able to, it happened by the
Your voice is a bit breaking for us.
Yeah, there is a
Oh,
noise that is coming up.
no, no, no. So actually, I'm in outside, so that's why I'm able to open my camera. Okay, so I'm in travel, so that's why. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I would like to end the stream. So I would like to connect with you in the separately in the meanwhile. So after the today's session is over, and connect with you guys. Okay. So I would have some discussions with you so regarding the future events and that. Okay. Is it fine with you?
sure. Yes,
Yeah.
Thank you
yes.
Thank you,
for
guys. Thank you
having
so
us
much.
here. Thank you so much. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Thank you so. Yeah. Bye bye. Yeah. Thank you.